Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the most wonderful time of the year. I think last year's Royal Rumble really tested us, but this time the Royal Rumble looks really exciting, and I'm also excited to see how Triple H books his very first full Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So let's get right into it. So we're starting off with Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight. To be honest, this match had a bit of a weird build. It's funny because it's just gonna feel like another Bray Wyatt stipulation match, to be honest. I think he's got a lot of stipulations as it is already. Some of them good, like the Firefly Funhouse, and I don't know how pure wrestling fans feel about that, but pretty decent and went through a lot of the psychology of John Cena's career and everything. And then he also has something like the House of Horrors match, which was not great at all. It's also funny because we haven't really seen or heard, like in commentary or anything, about what exactly this pitchback match is going to be or how it's going to work. All we know right now is that it's sponsored by Mountain Dew, so I'm not really hoping for too much in this match. I actually just want the rules to make sense when we finally find out how this works. But I think the most important part about this match is the psychology behind Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy and how all of that is going to work. I think Uncle Howdy is going to play a huge factor in this match, especially because it's Bray Wyatt's return match. So I think we're going to see something very interesting here, but I don't think the match itself is going to play a big part into this. Okay, so in terms of who I think is going to win, I'm going to have to go with Bray Wyatt here. I don't think that LA Knight's been booked strong enough in terms of being able to face and beat Bray Wyatt. But I think that it's going to be pretty interesting, mainly just to see what the hell a pitch black match is. But I don't think Bray Wyatt should lose his return match either, so it's going to be Bray Wyatt with this one. So just a little bit of a bonus here. I'm going to try and figure out who Uncle Howdy is. So a part of me kind of wants him to have a similar role to Kane, where we know there's someone behind the mask, but they don't tell us who he is. So for a long time, he's just a character on the show, and we don't really find out who he is under the mask. But if he does get unmasked, part of me hopes it's Bo Dallas, just because I'd love to see like a more sinister side of Bo Dallas. I'd love to see Bo Dallas in a role that's not really comedic, because throughout his WWE career, he's kind of leaned more towards the comedy side of things. So seeing a sinister, more serious side of him is going to be very cool as well. Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss. So another match where we could see an Uncle Howdy appearance. I really love this new side of Alexa Bliss. I love that she's scary, she's moody, she really just doesn't give a damn anymore, which is great. I think that having her as a complete heel is also going to be really good. But yeah, I need to see that, because also it feels like the Raw roster is really lacking something in terms of the women's division. It's scary because we have Alexa, we have Bailey, we have Bianca, we have Becky, all on the same roster, but it doesn't feel like anyone's standing out. It doesn't feel like anyone's a star right now. And it's no fault to the ladies at all. It's just that it feels like they haven't been built strong enough to really be like big stars. So currently their booking has been lacking a bit, and it doesn't feel like we have a star in the women's division on Raw at the moment. We need like Becky Lynch in 2019 The Man vibes, where it's just you can put her in any arena on any show and guaranteed like a giant thunderous pop. And that's the kind of star power that I feel has been lacking. And I think this new Alexa Bliss character could kind of get the reaction that you want, in terms of having a heel character just come out there and demolish everyone. So I think that it's time for Bianca to lose the title. I think it's time for Alexa Bliss to really just build herself back up again. I don't think those like therapy session things with the Lily really helped her character too much. So, yeah, I think it's time we see a new Alexa Bliss, and it's time for her to get the title back. I'm pretty much just putting this out there because I have a feeling that on SmackDown they're going to add this match to the card. So it's gonna be Charlotte Flair versus Sonya Deville. Now, this is pretty much what they've been building to on SmackDown. It hasn't really been a good build. I think that SmackDown really needs to build up a really good heel just to face Charlotte. For example, I'd really like to see Charlotte versus Xia Li, but we might not get that anytime soon. It's a no-brainer. Charlotte's going to win this match. They haven't really built up Sonya Deville as much as I'd like to. She doesn't feel like a very formidable opponent for Charlotte. Again, not her fault, just really hasn't been a very good build for her. But I'm really hoping that they start building her up as a really good heel so that if she has a rematch with Charlotte, it can be a really, really good match. Okay, so there's a lot to dig in here for this one. This is the Universal title match between Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. So I was a little bit skeptic of them putting Kevin Owens back into this role of trying to get the titles off Roman, because we have actually seen this match before with these two exact characters. But I think the added mix of Sami Zayn makes everything a little bit better. After Raw 30, Roman said that he doesn't want to see Sami again because his final test will be at the Royal Rumble. So my question is, do they make the final test a part of the Royal Rumble match itself, or is his final test at the Royal Rumble to help Roman defeat Kevin Owens? Man, I've been pondering over this for a while, because what's the better route? Do you have Sami in the Rumble, or do you have him helping Roman, or do you have him in both? Because there is a case for that he can do things in both, right? So if he is there to help Roman Reigns, what I think should happen is that Roman legit needs to be beaten down by Kevin Owens. I think Kevin Owens just needs to go crazy on Roman Reigns with tons and tons and tons of near falls. And then Sami Zayn has to be the one to save Roman. I think Sami should be the one to save Roman, save the titles for the Bloodline. So the other big aspect of this match is, what is the relationship between Sami Zayn and Paul Heyman like now? Can Paul Heyman trust Sami Zayn? Can Sami Zayn trust Paul Heyman? Especially after Sami Zayn said, that really hurt me a lot, seeing Paul Heyman accuse him of all of these horrible things. What is their relationship now? Like, for example, what if Sami accidentally costs Roman something and there's a near fall and Paul Heyman is the one that saves Roman? Or vice versa, let's say Paul Heyman distracts Roman accidentally and Sami is the one that has to go in and save him. I think that would be a really good way to move the story forward. Also, with Roman being able to see, okay, cool, they're starting to trust each other, we're getting the bloodline back in order so that we can be dominant again. My prediction for this, I think Roman Reigns is going to win, but by the skin of his teeth, I think Roman's just going to barely make it out of here as champion, because I don't think there's another way that you could do this match where it's actually about the titles and it's not about the emotional connection between all the characters. I think this match is purely just there as character work, and I think something big is going to happen with Sami. Possibly his honorary title being taken away. But yes, I think that this is going to be a really good match, and there's going to be a ton of really good character work happening here. The Women's Royal Rumble match. Now, this one again it's so hard because I think there's two ways that this can go. Okay, so the safer option would be for me to choose Rhea Ripley. Okay, they've been building her up as this really big powerhouse, and she's a really, really big star now. Like, not the levels that I want in the women's division, but she is a star in her own right. And the Judgment Day are really, really, really hot right now, but they can also build Rhea up as this formidable force that's going to actually eliminate everyone. Okay, I would say put her in like the top 5, and then just let her eliminate person after person after person after person, and then she can win the match. I think that's the best way to book the Judgment Day right now, is to have Rhea just dominate the Royal Rumble and then win it. The less safe option, but low-key this is the option that I want to happen, is it's gonna go to Sasha Banks. I think Sasha Banks makes a return at number 30. Whether she comes out as Mercedes Moné or Sasha Banks, I don't really mind. I just want her back in the WWE. I think that she's actually been the missing piece in everything, because every match that she's in feels like a significant match, you know? I think that all the accolades that she's gotten, she definitely deserves. And backstage, right, I think that they could actually run a deal similar to what they did with Carl Anderson, where it's like, okay, cool, you do your run in Japan, and then when we need you, you need to come back though. It doesn't feel like it should be a big deal of like, we need to lock her in and she can't do anything anywhere else, you know? So I don't think it's some like crazy forbidden door thing anymore. I do understand where people are coming from, because she did look really, really happy in Japan, but I would also say that giving her the Royal Rumble now would kind of be like a, hey, we're sorry we messed up the tag titles, but here's Mania, here's the Rumble, you go do your thing. So, that being said, who am I picking? I think Rhea Ripley's going to win the Royal Rumble. The men's Royal Rumble match. Again, I can see this going two ways, because the very obvious choice right now is to choose Cody Rhodes. They've built him up as this big returning star that's coming at the Rumble, and to be honest, you can't build him up the way they've been building him up during his injury and not give him something as significant as the Royal Rumble. I think that's just really wrong. So I think it's going to be Cody, especially because it's time for us to see him do something different. I mean, he came back at WrestleMania last year, and the only thing I remember him doing was facing Seth Rollins. So we need a bit of a restart and a refresh on Cody as well. The other option is Sami Zayn. Sami could actually come into the Royal Rumble, and his duty could be to protect Solo, to protect Jimmy, and to protect Jay in the match. So the four of them work together to pretty much make sure that they keep everyone else out of the match. And then some disaster strikes. So let's say another faction comes in, like for example the New Day. Peggy's a good return. Let's just say for the sake of this booking, someone comes in like the New Day, they eliminate the Usos and Solo. What is Sami Zayn going to do? So instead, Sami Zayn wins the Royal Rumble. Okay, because either way now he's like, hey look, there's still a member of the Bloodline in here. No, it's not the one you wanted, but I won the Royal Rumble. That could lead to a very cool storyline of like the Bloodline constantly going, Sami, you can't face Roman. Sami, you can't face Roman. And then eventually he gets kicked out anyway. And then we still see Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns. So I think that's a very big option as well, just like moving forward in the timeline. I'm just thinking that maybe that's a really good way to put it, is that you cause friction by Sami Zayn actually winning the Royal Rumble. But I'm going to go with my heart on this one and say that my pick to win the men's Royal Rumble is Cody Rhodes. Okay, so now let's think of some really cool returns we can have. So there's usually always a spot where you see the Hurricane. I think the Hurricane's a good shout. I think Big E could come back. I think Edge and AJ Styles could come back. Maybe not so much AJ Styles, considering that he broke his ankle, but I think that those are pretty good shots. The Bella Twins could come back. Lita could come back. I think we could see Kelly come back again. So I think there's an interesting mixture. If there was someone who I would want to come back because I want to see her in the Royal Rumble, it's definitely AJ Lee, but I know that that's not going to happen. And then NXT call-ups, I'd love to see Carmelo Hayes come up. I'd love to see Cora Jade come up. So who would you like to see in the Royal Rumble? What are your predictions for the Royal Rumble? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe.